Hey, hi friends. Welcome to Playwright with Java sessions. So in this session, we're going to discuss about navigation commands in Playwright. So in general, we have four navigation commands: Page.navigate, Page.reload, Page.goBack, and Page.goForward. Now, one of the most important thing is navigation commands are page level commands. They are not locator level commands. So we know that. So they are similar to, these commands are even similar with Selenium. So these are page level commands. Now let us go back to our application. Now here I am on buttons page. If you take the first button, go to home. When I click on this button, it will take me to home page. So this is my home page. And when I click on navigate back at the top, extreme left hand side top, so there is nothing but, so here we are clicking to go back. This is nothing but page.goBack. And then again we'll be on button page. If I click forward, it should again take me to home page. And then we're gonna click on workspace and then on input. And here I'm gonna add some data into first field, some random data. And then once I refresh this page, then I should not see this data inside the field number 1. Now when I reload this page, yes, now I couldn't see the data here inside the field number 1. Now let us simulate this scenario. So in this scenario, if we while executing this scenario, we're going to cover all the commands, all the navigation commands: navigate, reload, go back, and go forward. So without any further delay, let us jump back to our code. So let me create a class quickly. Let us name it navigation page or navigation test. We create a main method. So for time being, let us create @test. So this test is coming from test.ng. Let us give some method name. I'm going to give again navigation test. So now inside this step, our first step is going to be creating the Playwright object and then browser context and then page. So we are looking at the same code from past 3 sessions. So I don't want to bore you guys. So I'm going to just copy the code. So first we're going to create a Playwright object and then browser object and then browser context and then finally page. Using this page object, we're going to navigate to our application. So directly I'm copying till navigation. Let's paste it here. And finally, we will be closing page and then browser context or browser. Directly you can close the browser. So you can close the browser context as well. So browser context is nothing but it is an incognito page and browser is the instance and Playwright is the engine. Now we should insert our code between line number 16 and line number 23. So here we're navigating to buttons page. So as soon as we navigate to buttons page, let me get back to buttons page. Yes. Now we should click on go to home. So let us inspect this. Let us inspect this element. And when I inspect, it is having an ID called home. So let me quickly copy this. And let us create a locator using page object. And the locator here, I'm going to use CSS strategy. So hashtag and then give the ID here. Now this is my locator of button. So let me name it button. Of course, it's going to give me a locator. So I have this button here. And then we have to click on the button. Right. So after clicking on the button, it will take us to home page. When I click on this button, it will take me to home page. To check whether I'm in home page or not, I'm gonna take this URL and I'm gonna copy this URL and let us paste it in the code for time being. And we should validate whether the URL is matching or not. So after clicking, I'll be on home page. So let me ask page object to give me the URL. Now just page.url, it's gonna give me that page URL. Now let me name it as expected. This is gonna be actual homepage URL. And the one we copied should be expected URL, expected homepage URL. So let us name it expected homepage URL. Now I have my expected and the actual. Now let us assert. So we have something called as assert that in Playwright, and it's gonna take either page or locator. But here, okay, so instead of getting URL using page object, let us pass page object to this assert that. First, we should we should import this assert that from Playwright assertions. Now on this, I can use a lot of methods, but right now I'm gonna use has URL. Now here we should pass expected homepage URL. So these are directly I can assert. This I need not have to get this URL again. So let me delete it. Okay. So this is my first validation. And then our next step is going to be, again, we should be back on our buttons page. So I should click on navigate back. Now let me ask again page to navigate back. Just type back, yeah, go back. So go back is the command. Now it will take me to button page. So once I'm in button page, again, let me check the URL. Let me assert using URL. So let me copy the URL of the button page and let us assert. And let us simply copy. Let us paste it here, the button page URL. And so let us copy the same assertion command, assertion statement that we have used above. Now here, instead of expected homepage URL, I'm gonna paste our buttons page URL. Right. So here's how I'm gonna assert the buttons page. And the next step is to again navigate forward. So go forward. Now it should take me to home page again. So let me use the same assert statement which we used in line number 23. So let me copy this. Now let us paste it here. Now finally I am on home page. So after being on home page, okay, so finally I'll be on home page. Now here, let us click on explore workspace. So let me inspect this. So when I inspect this, it is a link. If you observe, it is a link. It is not having ID, but it is having title called courses. So let us use title for time being and let us check whether it is unique or not. Now I'm gonna use okay, so here I should not specify a single quotation. So we have to okay. So explore workspace and explore courses. So the two buttons are having the same title. Now we can depend on, for time being, let us depend on href. So href is equal to, let us use test. Okay, so this is how we can find locator of explore workspace uniquely. Let us copy this. Let us get back to our code. Now we would like to click on this. So first I should ask Page to locate this particular link or a button, anything. So now we have to click on this. Now when I click on this, it's going to take me to this practice page. Now here inside this practice page, I would like to click on the inputs edit link. Now here I'm going to introduce a new method called wait. It is regarding wait. So we have to wait till this page gets loaded. Okay. So after clicking on the, if I go back here, after clicking on explore workspace, it is going to take me to the practice page. Here we should wait till this page is loaded. Since it is not a navigation method, since we are not using any navigation method, there is no auto wait. So we can use wait for. So we have a lot of wait for methods. Here we have wait for timeout, or wait for close, wait for console message, wait for function, wait for load state, and wait for navigation. And there are a lot of things. So let me use this wait for navigation. If you observe here, wait for navigation, we have two types of wait for navigations. We have overloaded methods. One method is taking a runnable, and one method is taking wait for navigation options and then runnable. So what is runnable? Runnable is nothing but it's a functional interface which takes nothing and which returns nothing. So here directly I can use the second one, which is wait for navigation. So here first we have to send wait for navigation options. So here new wait for navigation options dot. Here I can use set wait until, and again here I can say wait until. So I would like to wait until the network is idle, or you can wait until DOM content is loaded, or you can wait until load. So there's a difference between DOM content loaded, network idle, and then load. So what is DOM content loaded? So when I say wait until state DOM content loaded, if you take any page, first the DOM gets loaded. The DOM, when I say DOM, it is HTML. So first HTML gets loaded, and then, so now when I say DOM content loaded, it just loads the HTML. It will not load pictures or CSS styling. And then it starts loading, or it starts resolving, or it starts rendering the CSS. It's going to take some time. And then finally, our page is going to fire a new event called as load. When I say load, wait until state load, it means HTML has been loaded and the styling has also been loaded. And then, so right now all our pages are Ajax, or I think there are a lot of asynchronous Java calls are being happening at the backend, or a lot of API calls. And after rendering CSS as well, it might take some time for few buttons or for few calls to resolve. Now, when I say network idle, it means that I am gonna wait till network is idle. There are no more any network calls for at least 500 milliseconds. So if you ask me hierarchy, now first DOM content loaded is gonna fire, and then load is gonna fire, and then finally network idle. So if you wanna wait till network idle, then it's good. But mostly for our situation, we can wait till load page loads. So this is my first waiting strategy here that I am going to introduce to you guys. And then second option, it is going to take a runnable. So here we should pass runnable. Runnable is nothing but it's so we can write runnable in a lambda function style. So yeah, so this is a lambda function. So these are runnable actually, which takes nothing and which returns nothing. So here inside runnable, I can pass the clicking option. Okay, here I can pass the clicking option. So let me copy this line number 32, because unlike in Selenium, so in Selenium first we gonna click it, we're gonna click or we're gonna perform some action and then we will wait for some event to rise. But here in Playwright, we're gonna first declare the uh, or a listener, and then we're gonna perform some action. So here inside runnable, I can pass this click option here. So this is how I can. So here runnable is nothing but it's gonna do whatever we give it to you. We give it to the runnable. So it takes nothing. So it is not expecting any parameters, and it is not returning us anything. There is no so it is not returning us basically anything. So page.locator.click is not gonna return us anything. Now it's gonna perform the runnable method first. It means it's gonna click on this button and then it's gonna wait for the navigation till the page is loaded. So that is what the line number 34 to 36 is. And then here in this practice page, I'm gonna click on edit button of input of this input section. So let us inspect this edit. Right. So if you observe here, we can depend on text for time being. So I'm going to depend on the text here, or you can depend on href as well. So okay, let's depend on href for time being. Href is equal to, it should be edit. So let me inspect it again. Yes, edit. Copy this href or copy this CSS selector, and then again. So when I click on this, it's gonna take me to input page. Right, it's going to take me to input page. So let us again use the same wait for navigation command. So here let me copy this CSS selector, let me comment for this. So here again we're going to use the same wait for navigation method. Let me copy this, let me paste it here again. But here let us wait till network is idle for time being. It doesn't gonna matter at all in our case for timing, but just I want you guys to show you there are two different methods called load and network being idle. And then here we should click on this edit. So let me copy this CSS selector and let me paste it here. So let me remove this. And then finally we'll be on input page. Now here our first task is to get the value from this field. So it should be empty. And when I enter something here, okay, first let us inspect this input field. Now it is having an ID called full name. So let me copy this. And first let us ask page to locate it. So page.locator, here I can specify hashtag, and then yes. Now this is gonna give me input field locator. So let us resolve this. It's gonna be located. So now I have input field locator. Okay. So first, let me get the text that is present inside input field. For time being, for right now, there is no any text here. So it should give me empty string. So how to get text from an input field? So we did discuss this method in our previous session as well. So it is nothing but input value. So when you apply input value on any field, it's going to give you the input that you want to insert into that input field. Now let us store this here, and then let us name it empty here for time being. It should give us some value, and I'm expecting it is empty. And let us enter some text here. So input field dot. So how to send text? We have a method called fill. So inside this field, let us send random programmer. Okay. So after filling this, again let us get the input value. Again let us get the input value. Now this time our input value should be random programmer. So let us assert this. So let us assert this. Now I can use Playwright assert statement called assert that. Now this assert that, if you observe here, let me show it to you here. There are three overloaded assert that methods. The first one is going to take page object, and then second assert that is going to take locator, and then API response. API response we're going to discuss when we discuss about API using Playwright, how to perform API testing using Playwright. But for time being, we're going to look into the second one, which is assert that, which is expecting a locator. So here we should pass the locator. Here I would like to pass input field is a locator, and dot has, there is something called as has value. Okay, has value. What are we expecting? We are expecting random programmer. Now here we are expecting random programmer, because once we fill the text in the input field should be random programmer. Okay, and then finally now we're gonna reload the page, or now we're gonna do a refresh. How to do the refresh? Same again, page.reload. Page.reload. Now yes, this is how I'm gonna reload the page, and after reloading the page, now again we should get the input value. So here again let us use assert that, and we should pass input field, and now has value. Now it should be the empty, right? So we did store the initial value here inside the empty field or empty variable. So I'm gonna use that variable to assert here in line number 50. Okay. Yes, that's it, guys. So let me go through the code once. So first we navigated to buttons, and then I located a button called home, which is the first button. When I click on that button, it should take me to home page. So I'm asserting that I am on the home page, and then when I click on back, it should again take me to buttons page. So I'm here again asserting that I'm on whether I'm on buttons page or not. And then when I click on forward, here again it should take me to home page. So I'm asserting that I'm on home page or not. And then finally I'm clicking on a button or a link here, which is going to take me to practice page. And on practice page, I am clicking on the edit or input field link, which is going to take me to input page. Now here in the line number 43, I am on input page, and then I am locating the first input field, and then I'm getting the input default or initial input value, which is going to be empty string. So I'm going to store it in a variable called empty, and then I'm filling it with some value called random programmer, and then I'm asserting it, and then I'm reloading the page. When I reload the page, it should erase or it should take, or page should go back to its initial state, where in the initial state we don't have any value inside the input field. So I'm going to assert it using empty variable. That's the case. So here our code should work as expected, and then finally I'm closing the page, browser context, and then the browser. So yeah, finally we should close the Playwright instance as well. Playwright dot close. So here I am closing all the things, page, and then the browser context, browser, and then Playwright instance as well. Let us run this program and let us check whether it is working fine or not. Okay, so let me introduce a few waiting. Let us wait for some time here at each step. So after navigating to buttons page, and here when I click on the first button, it's going to take me to the home page, right? So when I click on this, and after here, I'm gonna wait. So we need not have to use sleep here. Here we have wait for timeout method, default timing timeout method, or default sleep method in Playwright. That is nothing but wait for timeout. Here I'm gonna wait for 2 seconds. So we have to pass. By default, it's gonna consider as milliseconds. So I'm gonna pass 2000 milliseconds, which is gonna be 2 seconds. So let me copy the same statement and let me paste it here after Page.goBack, and then I'll be asserting it. After asserting, let me add it here, and after clicking on the forward, I'm going to assert that, and then let us wait for here for 2 seconds, and then it's going to click on uh, the explore workspace, and then let us wait for 2 seconds, and then it's going to click on the input edit link. Let us wait for 2 seconds here, and then finally it's before filling. Okay, so it's going to fill the random programmer, and then after filling random programmer and then asserting, let us wait for 2 seconds, and then it will reload, and then it will assert, and then finally let's wait for 2 seconds. So in total, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 waits. So 7 to 14 seconds we're gonna wait in this program. Yeah, that's fine. Let us run this program once. Yeah, so yes, so it should click on go to home. It will wait for here for some time. Now it is again, yeah, again we are on home. Okay, okay guys, so it clicked on add. If you observe it, it did click on the add because the page is not in a maximized position. So here element got overlaid, and then it click on the add here. So we should expand the here we should expand the page. So let me close this for time being, and let us maximize this. So let me close the program as well. Yes, and then here I have to maximize it. How to maximize it? Here after setting the channel, I can set the arcs. If you observe, set arcs is going to take list of strings. So set arcs is going to take a list of strings. So I'm going to pass a list of. So inside list of, I'm going to pass a string here. So to maximize, we should pass a command called hyphen hyphen start hyphen hyphen start hyphen maximized. Okay, now this is going to maximize the window. Now let us run the code again. It will work now. Yeah, it did maximize. It should go back again. Okay. Yeah, now if you observe, it is again clicking on the add here. So again, it's not going to work. So let us close this. Now let us expand this a little bit. So let us set the viewport of this page. Okay, so viewport is nothing but we can set the size of this page, and let us check by setting the size here inside the new context. Here inside the new context, we can pass new context options, where one of the option is to set the viewport size. Here in the viewport size, let us give 1920 and then 1080. Now let me run this code again. I think it's gonna work now. To click on input, yes, here it should enter some text and the program, yes, it should reload now. Now there is no text, now it should pass. Right. Okay, so here, yeah, that's it for this video. So here we discussed a lot regarding the navigation commands. We did discuss how to maximize a window using -start -maximize and how to set a viewport. And then we did discuss how to use sleep command that is coming from Playwright. And we did discuss how to go back or how to go forward, how to reload a page, and how to wait for a navigation, how to wait. So we're gonna use this method, wait for navigation, whenever a button or a link is gonna take us to a new page. Okay. So when we're clicking on a button or when you're clicking on something which is navigating to us to a new page, then we're gonna use this method called wait for navigation. And here up to us to use whatever strategy we want. So I did show you two strategies here, wait until load state or wait until network idle state. It's up to you what to, depending upon your scenario, you can use anything. So if you ask me the hierarchy, the first it's gonna do DOM loading, and then second it's gonna load, and then finally it's gonna wait till network is idle. Network is idle. What is DOM loading? Here inside the DOM loading, it's gonna wait till HTML is loaded. HTML is loaded. Here in this stage, CSS and then JavaScript is not yet resolved. Is not yet resolved. Here when I say load, here HTML is loaded, and then CSS styling, and then JavaScript. The scripts are also loaded. And here, but network calls can still go on. Network calls. When I say network calls, they are nothing but backend API calls. Backend API calls, they can still go on. Can still be running. And when I say network idle, now here it waits till network calls are resolved. And then how can you can ask me how does it know whether the network calls are idle or else or the network calls are resolved or not? It is an idle state or not. It's gonna wait if there are no network calls for at least for 500 milliseconds. Now it's gonna consider the state as network idle, and then it's gonna fire this event called network idle. It's gonna wait for 500 milliseconds. I mean, like if there are no any network calls for at least for 500 milliseconds, then it is nothing but it is network idle state. So first it's gonna fire downloading, and then load, and then finally network idle. It's up to you to use whatever you want out of these three waiting strategies. Yeah, that's it, guys. That's it for this video. If you feel this video is useful, just click on like, subscribe to my channel, and then share it with your friends if you find the content is valuable. Yeah, stay tuned to my channel. There are a lot more interesting videos are gonna come up on Playwright and some other tools as well. So yeah, after some days I'm gonna start a session on framework as well. So stay tuned to my channel. Yeah, thank you guys. Have a good day.